They got the countdown for us, and we live. All right, so man, welcome to Locker Room Talk with Jitim Young. I'm your boy, Mr. Wildcat, Mr. Northwestern, Mr. Big Ten, Chicago legend, Mr. Hall of Fame, Westside great, Jitim Young, Lack. Man, and it's only right in this March Madness, and it's madness because it's a lot going on. And I'm like, when I'm up, I feel like talking basketball. Who best to talk basketball with than a great one himself, the voice of Chicago, the voice of the street. Man, he got the hottest sports talk show, man, throughout the day, man. His podcast is cracking. My brother Faith. Hey, bro, man, thanks for joining me, man. We up late out here, bro. For real.
I'm tuning in. I'm not in the Chicago, man. I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. I was just at the JSU thing earlier. My little cousin became a Kappa.
Oh, man, shout out to Cuzzo. Cuzzo done cross, baby. He done crossed the burning sands.
Across. So being a Kappa runs in their blood.
Right.
So he crossed over, and so we came down here to support him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Have you seen Deion Sanders since you've been down there?
I haven't seen Prime, but Schroeder walked past me today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Me and Schroeder, I think he about 6'1", 6'2".
Right, yeah.
Big ass hands though, yeah. So.
Oh, man, I already know. So, man, we got Face on the show, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Makai Reed, Captain, Christ the King, one of Christ the King's best players ever, and they had a good season. This is so shout out to Makai Reed on Facebook Live. Me and Face is gonna run through the March Madness. We're gonna talk about, the teams that surprised us, what we've liked in there. We're gonna start off talking about just the tournament, some Big Ten disappointments. But then we want to, kind of touch on. We've seen a lot of Chicago players in this tournament that's hooping, and we just want to touch on that. So we're gonna dive right into it. Face, man, how your bracket looking?
My bracket tournament. I don't know who lost first, but my bracket been destroyed. I had.
You know what? I'm with you, bro, man. Like I had some, I posted earlier. I had somebody from the Big Ten winning it all, and St. Peter's knocked out Purdue. So yeah, my bracket over with. I don't got nothing left. I'm just watching now as a fan.
Yeah, a fan. Yeah, I'm watching it. But before it even started, I had said on my basketball talk live show on Facebook that
Right.
one of the number one seeds wasn't going to make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
One of the number one seeds was going to lose in the Sweet 16. One was
Right.
going to the Elite Eight, and we'll be lucky if we see one of them make it to the Final Four. And everything I've said been true so far.
Yeah. I mean, when you call it, basketball Face, and shout out to one of Marshall's finest that's online, Cleotis Hiller Red, trying to ask me, am I in shape to hoop? Red, man, we'll talk about hooping another time, man. But
Red, it's over with.
Red Face said, man, it's over with, man. He said he wanna play in a 40 and over league in June.
Hell, we're gonna be home all stars.
I know, man. Hopefully, I'll be there if they're gonna pay you to be on the microphone at the game because you make a game exciting. I wish they would have had you at the United Center because the tournament is going on at the United Center. And speaking of the United Center, Charlie Moore, Morgan Park, he's been putting on a clinic for Miami, and that's one of the teams that would surprise me. I watched the ACC a lot this year. Really, a lot of the ACC teams did surprise me because, early in the year, I didn't think the ACC. I thought they were tough, but I didn't think that they were dominant, like the way the Big Ten dominated, the non-conference season, then right into conference. But Charlie Moore, the way he's lifted Miami, that's been a surprise. Obviously, St. Peter's and Shaheen Holloway coaching, that's been a surprise for me. What about you with the surprises?
Played in March. on any given day in the tournament. You just have to be the best player on that day. I mean, the
Right.
best. And I didn't think Miami was gonna get this far. I had them beating USC in the first
Right.
round, but I didn't have them getting this far. But when you put Charlie Moore on that team and with his college experience and his basketball game, he's really showing people how to be a floor general.
Right.
He's running that team the way it's supposed to be ran. Like if you watch him play for like the first 3 or 4 minutes, he's controlling the game from start to finish.
Yeah.
The way he's running that pick and roll, it's like a well-oiled machine. Like he's not taking any bad shots. He's putting people where they're supposed to be. He's delivering the ball on time, not late, not early.
Right.
And seeing he's from Chicago and I saw him play all through high school, this is nothing new to me. This
Yeah.
just getting his chance. And the longer you win in the NCAA tournament, the more we get to see of you. And now people really getting to see it. The only thing I don't like about it is how they seeing how many colleges he went to over the course of the years he's been in
Right.
college. Always going to be a dim light on a bright situation.
Right. And I think that's just critics. And shout out to Jason Strait, Dunbar's finest, one of the best players to come out of the public league. He's joining us right now. And I'm looking at Facebook comments as we going. So shout out to Jay Strait. But like to your point, uh, people should focus on what he's doing instead of well, he's played at 3 or 4 different colleges or whatever like that. I look at it as experience. There's people that's on the workforce right now. They've in the last 4 years, done jump company to company as well. But that experience has made them, that's put them in a position that they're in to be successful. And it's the same thing with Charlie Moore. That's why I always tell people, like, when I think about life and I think about opportunities, I look at life through a lens of being a basketball player because it's the same thing. And with Charlie Moore, the experience he got at Kansas, then he came to DePaul and he elevated DePaul. Reed is now a pro in the NBA because of the way Charlie Moore was able to play, and he was able to play with a real point guard. And now he was at
California.
California, uh, did a good job, same as Jerome Randall there. But the coaching change is the reason why he ended up leaving the Pac-12, which I thought that was a perfect conference for him because they got so many like small guards, and I thought he would be the best out of all those guards in the Pac-12. And now he's at Miami doing the same thing. But the thing I think these critics don't realize is that everywhere Charlie Morris went, he's been successful, and I think that's what people should focus on in this tournament. We just seen Duke, Coach K in his last hurrah. They just, man, that was like practice, man. What they did to Arkansas, man. Them like, you ever played against your little nephew or little cousin? You just held his head down and they threw the ball to your hand and you just kept scoring. That's what Duke looked like against Arkansas.
No, I looked at that and I was just Applebee's eating. I was watching that game. What I saw was what people not gonna see. I saw Arkansas scoring 2-point baskets and Duke
Hmm.
hit. So if you score 2, I hit a 3. I'm up 1.
Right.
You score
Yep.
2, hit a 3 again, and I'm up 2. And that's how
Right.
that. Then it was 2 plays back to back that one was an offensive rebound for Duke, and one was a
Yeah.
50-50 ball that Duke got. And
Right.
it from being 6 points to 8, I think to 11 points. And
Yeah.
then that 3-pointer going into the half is really like took it away. Duke was getting all the 50-50 balls, offensive rebounds, and then I think Duke went probably like 4 minutes in the middle of the second half without missing a shot. They scored like on
Right.
every possession for 4 minutes straight, and that's not easy to do. And it's hard to stop people when they roll.
Yeah. Duke hit their stride in the tournament. When I saw Duke play against Michigan State, I picked Michigan State to win because Duke was young and I saw the inconsistency. Whereas I felt Michigan State, first of all, Tom Izzo on March, and then with those guys, those older guys that's been there, and they played well. They shot the ball just like I thought Michigan State would shoot the ball. But that talent of those young boys and the consistency in play, in which you pointed out already that they made, they first 8 to 12 shots of the second half, which is hard to do. They hit a stride in March, and they kind of took that upper hand against Michigan State. But yeah, Duke is on fire. Carolina, another team that, man, battle tested. That game I saw against Baylor, and then they had another game. They had a dogfight in that game as well. Those two teams right now is the two teams I'm picking to win this tournament. But how disappointed are you with the Big Ten coming off another phenomenal season, and the best team that you had in the league was pretty much Michigan, and Michigan people didn't even think should have been in the tournament. What do you think is the Big Ten problem? Definitely in these last 2 years in the month of March.
The problem in the Big, they are sending 9 or maybe 10 teams, maybe
Yeah,
to the tournament. They damn near
yeah,
send the whole conference to the tournament. But what you got to know is, if you watch basketball, the Big Ten this year only had 2 good teams.
right,
Maybe Illinois was shaky from the jump, like they
yeah,
was inconsistencies all year. Then you had Ohio State that's strong, but they was inconsistent also.
right,
The real toughness of the Big Ten was Purdue and Iowa State. They was the toughest. I mean, Purdue and Iowa. And then
right,
once Iowa got bounced so early, and then Purdue was in it, it was just like, damn if I do, damn if I don't. And Purdue
yeah,
only goes as far as Jaden Ivey.
yeah,
Go as far as he go. And if Jaden Ivey doesn't make 2 to 3 3 pointers a game, Purdue loses. And he only made 1 3-pointer that game.
right. At the
And
at the end of the game, that long Steph Curry three he made.
he ain't had no legs. You could
Right.
tell what he shot that all arms. If he'd
Yeah.
had, he probably would. It would have been a better shot. But they like, I'm disappointed in the Big Ten because they one of the top 3 power conferences is the Big Ten, it's the Big 12, and it's the ACC. The
Right.
Pac is right behind them. Then you got maybe the Big East and stuff like that. Down to it, the Big Ten, they just, when it comes to March, it seems like they play all their games against each other in the conference tournament, or from January or February to March, and they be all worn out, and then they don't know how to figure it out down the stretch. That's just
Yeah. Nah, I agree with that because when I watched when I watched Purdue play against St. Peter's, I'm thinking to myself, okay, St. Peter's want to come out. Shaheen Holloway game plan was this: we gonna press Purdue, take their legs away, and see if they can keep up with us. Purdue is 10 deep. My question to Coach Payne is, Coach, what the heck was your offensive game plan? And B, why didn't you make St. Peter show that they could handle the ball 94 feet? You got a lot of guards. You could have pressed them, even if them St. Peter's guards would have beat Purdue. You got 4 7-footers at the rim. They
but
can't up for 40 minutes. I don't think they could have. And we're gonna see that when they play North Carolina. I know North Carolina gonna do that. But I didn't think with the depth and with the talent of Purdue, them letting St. Peter's press them, and then they allowing St. Peter's on the offensive end to walk the ball up the court and get in their sets. That to me, that was the most dumbest game plan that you could have came up with against a team like that with all that talent you got.
what you gotta notice is, when Purdue plays, they never have both of their 7 footers in the game at the same time.
Right.
Never saw it. That's
Yeah.
because of them too slow in footwork and movement, and I think that's the biggest one on the team. And
Yeah.
he can move. He can move on offense, but when it's defense, if people go small and you go zone, they're gonna shoot the zone out. And
Right.
if you're down a bucket or two, now you can't play zone. You got to guard man, so both of them not gonna play.
Right.
So that's what people don't really see about that Purdue team.
I would have went like even though Westhouse never had a big man. Westhouse, when I say Westhouse, I'm talking about Westhouse High School in Chicago, one of the story programs. Westhouse is famous for playing small guys full court pressing for the entire game. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing Westhouse used to do, they press their full guards. Villanova do it too, and leave the one big back. So if that one big get tired, you just rotate in. You adjust them to who you playing. And for me, Purdue got enough guards where they could have put pressure, made St. Peter's just play a full court game, and then in the second half, saw if St. Peter's would have been able to make shots. What St. Peter's did exactly what you said. You didn't ask Ivy to do so much. Now in the fourth quarter, he ain't got legs. And now, with 5 minutes left, with 5 minutes left in the game, now you want to extend your defense. You should have extended your defense at 19:59 in the first half.
But what they did was what Purdue did was they knew that offensively they was better.
Right.
We're a better basketball team than them. But what they didn't do is they didn't come with a defensive plan to attack them. Like, okay, if we do get in this situation, what we gonna do? And what it was is they just figured like this school not gonna beat us. We're gonna run them out the gym. But then once they figured they couldn't run them out the gym, then they wanted to try to play their type of basketball. But at the time that they was trying to play Purdue basketball, St. Peter's had already put their trademark in and put their mark on the game, and they made Purdue play their type of basketball.
They took momentum.
Yeah. And once you do that, it's over with.
Yeah. We talking to Face. Y'all know Face, man. The voice of Chicago, man. The funniest person, man, I've ever met, man. From our hood, west side of Chicago legend, man. This man got the hottest basketball podcast in the world right now. And he's live with me. We talking basketball. Face, I want you to respond to Thomas Crockett said that when we were talking about Purdue, he said exactly. They didn't do nothing to make St. Peter switch anything. All right. Shout out to Ruben, Fresh Prince on Facebook. Shout out to him. Go ahead, Face. What do you say about that response to Thomas Crockett?
They did like when you want to make a team play your game, you make them play your game. That's just like when you playing a Princeton team. You know they're gonna run their offense for the whole 30 seconds, and
Right.
if they don't get the play right, then they're gonna shoot a bad shot or whatever type of shot they get with 1 second left. And
Yeah.
what Purdue did was they didn't first of all they couldn't make a jump shot to save their life.
Right. They couldn't shoot it.
And if they had been making jump shots, it would have been different. But once they didn't extend it and make St. Peter's work, St. Peter's was like, oh, they're not going to do this? So, okay, since they ain't going to do that, we ain't going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, he had a counter. St. Peter's coach had a counter. Purdue
Right.
had, who is these people? We just finna beat them. And then
Right.
game plan. But then again, you can't game plan when you got to play somebody within 48 hours of finding out that they won something.
That they won. Yeah. I mean, I played against St. Peter's in college, and, I mean, obviously it wasn't this St. Peter's team right here, but, man, as a coach, and this is why, like, when you at a tournament like this, and even when you play in a conference like this, the best coaches, the reason why these coaches get jobs in the NBA and they get jobs at the next level is in-game adjustments. Shaheem Holloway has been amazing at it, with the guys he got, and he getting the most out of everything he got. We want to jump right into Chicago basketball. And Face, when we was coming up in Chicago, every team you played had 3 or 4 D1 players. Now you watch a lot of Chicago basketball. It's not a lot of high-level, high-major players in high school basketball in Chicago. I watched Peoria downstate. I watched Jitim Young. They got some nice players. I saw St. Ignatius go down there for the first time in the school history and do their thing, and I seen a football school beat Simeon, and I seen a whole bunch of stuff going on down there. And then I watched the NCAA tournament. It was 48 Chicago players that entered into this NCAA tournament. And the majority of them were at other schools. What can we do in our city? What can we do to help the player development? What can we do to get the exposure and to help our kids grow as basketball players like it was 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago.
First thing you got to trust. Like you got if it's all about the process of elimination. Like for instance, a lot of people went to DePaul back in the day because they knew what type of coach was at DePaul and Ray Meyer. They knew he was going to recruit these few people and add these few people with him, and then make a good team out of it. And
Right.
then Illinois went and started recruiting, and then they had D Brown, and then they had Luther. When they
Hmm.
recruited them, and then they got Darren Williams from Texas, that let people know. Then they got Augustine from downstate Illinois, and they got a couple more people. It was the trust.
Roger Powell.
Yeah, it was the trust. It was the trust, and what it is now. Some of these coaches that's coming in, that's coaching in these Illinois colleges, these players not going to trust them. And at the end of the day, they don't just want these players don't want to go somewhere where they're not going to get the look, or they're not going to sit behind somebody they know they better than. Because some of these coaches that come in, they already got baggage with them. They're going to bring players they already had with them, and then
Right.
that person that's already established not want to sit behind them. And then you got to look at it. It's like a toss up. Like, man, should I go away to become my own man and
Right.
learn besides basketball and while I'm getting my education, or should I stay close to home? And me personally, I think staying close to home is a big distraction, especially when you're from a big city and then there's so much to do in that big city and you're not too
Right.
far. You're always gonna migrate home, and then that's like a distraction. But I can tell you now, it was going to be a change coming into DePaul with Tim Anderson being assistant coach. And I think DePaul messed up by not letting him stay there when they changed coaches and making him the head coach, but give him
Right.
at least 2 years and watch you start seeing some of the top recruits from Illinois end up going to Illinois.
Yeah.
You're going to
Nah,
see.
I mean, I agree with that. Trust is big. Jimmy Collins, when he was at Illinois, and then when he went to UIC and got set at Martell, that's trust. David Bailey, when he was playing for Coach Farmer at Loyola, and then he and Corey Minifield went there and they did what they did. That's trust right there. So I could definitely understand, players trusting the coaching staff. Even when I was at Northwestern. I didn't play for the coach that recruited me because Kevin O'Neill recruited me, but he ended up taking a job in the NBA. But once I graduated and Tavares got the job, and he was like the head assistant, kind of like in Tim's the position that Tim's in now. Northwestern started getting Juice and Drew Crawford and those guys, and they started building a program to the program that finally made it to the NCAA tournament about 4 years ago. But
Mhm.
like that trust factor is big in players' decisions to choose a school. And with Illinois, just like to your point, which you already pointed out, uh, they relied a lot on Kofi this year. They needed some more guards. I think Curbelo got hurt in the game when they played. They needed another point guard. Frazier, he's a two guard that was masquerading. He was a two guard trying to play point, and they just couldn't get Illinois into a flow. And real similar, just like you talked about Purdue, Illinois couldn't make a shot. But Wisconsin losing to Iowa State was super disappointing as well. And I think that like moving forward, I mean, it's hard to really say because every year to year change. Tom Izzo's gonna get the best out of his players, but when you got a school like Purdue with that much talent, if if you had the coach at Baylor, if you had the coach that Duke has or North Carolina has, they figure out a way to beat St. Peter's, and I think we're gonna see that in the next round.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah,
I don't lose until the final.
you think they're gonna be like Loyola and get to the Final Four?
Because St. Peter's ain't to be in a row,
Yeah,
and they just play basketball because they thinking like, we ain't got shit to lose, but we got everything to gain. They
yeah,
don't. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. The whole country. had St. Peter's to lose except for everybody at St. Peter's University. Everybody had them to lose. They broke everybody bracket when
St.
it got
Peter's did. Yeah.
no. Man, I looked at them St. Peter's. All right, watch out, man. I'm gonna just work on everything else because I know they finna lose. I had them,
Right.
but then again, they don't have nothing to lose. If St. Peter's do lose, they seniors gonna hold their head, and they juniors and some of their freshmen because they might not never get that chance again.
Ever again. Yeah.
But they gotta look at it like this: we put people onto our university now, so here come the good looks, and everybody want to play them now. And now
Hmm.
people that might be getting scouted by St. Peter's might be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go there because look what they doing in the tournament."
Right.
So you got to understand that, and then look at they.
Shaheen Holloway finna get an offer out this world. He might Seton Hall might offer him. Because you know he was a legend at Seton Hall and everything. Hey, they might throw a bag at him.
Listen to me. You go to Seton Hall, you got to deal with a whole different type of monster.
On the
You
real.
you put St. Peter's on the map. Seton Hall is already Seton Hall
Right.
or St. Peter's. Now get some of them players from Seton Hall to come to St. Peter's and put y'all on the map. St. Peter's has to understand now. If Seton
Yeah.
Hall offers him a couple million, then they got to offer him a double of that to stay there because at the end of the day, he the reason why they university.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I look forward to Tim when he get his opportunity as a head coach. I'm looking for him to have the same type of success. I don't care where he goes. We saw Dennis Gates take Cleveland State to the NCAA tournament. He took them in his first head coaching gig. They went there and I think they even won a game. So I'm to your point, I know if it was me and I did that, and then you had a major university saying, "Hey, look, hey man, we gonna give you," and I'm like, man, I done built this, so I get my rules, my way, my control. Versus now, I gotta be under structure and the different things. I can kind of see that mentality too. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna stay here unless y'all giving me 10 million a year or 15 a year. I can stay here for 3, 4, 5.
I'm gonna be honest. Holloway got 4 years. He has 4 years to just not win anything before they have to think about getting a new coach or anybody
Mhm.
because from nothing from shit to sugar is what they is right now.
Right.
So with that being said, next year if they make it to the tournament and get bounced in the first round, that's okay because they had a hell of a run this year.
Right.
Then they don't make it to the tournament. It's cool. They still, you know what I'm saying. The next year, they don't even make it out the semifinal rounds of their conference tournament, stuff like that. Then that's when you
Yeah.
start to. But at the end of the day, he has nothing to lose. That
Nah.
school, they don't want him to leave, so they gonna give him what he wants.
They
But
gonna give him everything you want.
he
Man,
got
shout out to Micey. Micey online. We got Micey Pulaski Rose, Fineman. We got a lot of everybody coming out because everybody know you online.
hey, look, let me tell you something. I want to touch back on something you said. I didn't get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, do it because you was talking. Sharon said on my Basketball Talk Live show, some of these coaches be lying to these players and it messes everything up. He said when he was graduating, him, Sharon Collins, Patrick Beverly, and John Shire all were gonna go to the University of Illinois. But I'm just gonna say this. At the time, I think Bruce Weber was a coach. Now Bruce Weber didn't want Patrick Beverly, but he wanted Sharon Collins and John Shire. Bruce Weber broke that team up before it can even be assembled because he said he didn't want one person. Now I don't know who you are, but what makes you say you don't want somebody that's defensively minded on your basketball team? And he messed that up, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to go to Illinois because it's sometimes the coaches and who they want to pick and choose. Now John Shire, who's to say he wasn't gonna leave Illinois if things didn't work, but he ended up going to Duke and being the heir to the throne after he put on 4 amazing years. Sharon went on to go to Kansas and being an all-time winningest player in Kansas. And then being Mr. Kansas, like he's ranked in the top 3 all time in Kansas Jayhawk history. Patrick Beverly ended up going to Arkansas, putting his stamp on everything, and now look where he at. Everybody, all three of them, I think Shia got a chance in the league, but didn't really get a chance. But Pat Beverly's still in the league. Sharon played in the league. All that could have been at Illinois had Bruce Weber just been like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And that's one of the reasons why Illinois or DePaul really ain't getting what they supposed to, because sometimes these coaches come in with their own agendas instead of rolling with what's going on.
I agree with that. You know why? And I'm gonna tell you like this. During that time, right after, so I graduated in '04. Then D and Luther and them went to the Final Four. They went to the national championship in '05. Julian Wright ended up going to Kansas. Right after that, it was a pivotal point in Illinois high school and Chicago basketball history. Derrick Rose, Sharon Collins, John Shire, Pat Beverly. You have four players. You have four players that needed to stay in Illinois. Rose, after the first three ended up leaving and going where they went. When Rose came out the next year, Rose was like, what? If Sharon and Bev and Shia left, I might as well leave too. He go to Memphis. And then from that's what, 2008?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Ayo just left Illinois, what, 2 years ago?
Last year.
And that's what, 2021? So from 2008, basically,
12
to
years.
2021, that's 12 years. That's a 12-year gap where that decision right there, like, made your best players in Chicago say, we're not going to stay here, because then what ended up happening? Anthony Davis said, well, Sharon and Rose left, I'm leaving. He went to Kansas. Jabari came, well, Derrick left, I'm leaving. Then Okafor came. You know what I mean? And so, and that's a trend. That's a 12-year trend that happened that, we trying to figure out, like, how can we get back to, when I stayed and when Luther stayed and when D Brown stayed, and even you look at the Flying Illini, all that talent end up staying, and then Q Rich and Bobby Simmons. So
And
12 years is a long time.
Q,
Lance, McPherson, yeah.
all decided to stay. Okay, let's be clear. I told you when you decided that you was going to Northwestern that you shouldn't have went there. I told you
Right.
this your playground. I say, don't go to Northwest. You was like, no, I'm going and I'm gonna build a program up. You did all you can do, but they never gave you the help you were supposed to get. Now
Right.
I told you that.
Yeah.
But you end up being probably the best player to ever go to that damn university and play.
Oh, for sure.
So you got to look at it like staying home is always a good thing, but sometimes it's also great to go away.
Yeah.
Like, you got to lead a nest, and the only way you can become a man is if you lead a nest. And I don't think Illinois would have been a great fit for all of them there at the same time, because, like, when you get so much on one team, you don't get to see what everybody else can and can't do, and that's the part I think shook things up on. I would love to see all Chicago players come back and stay home and play, but I don't think it's gonna ever happen.
Yeah, I mean, we got so much talent, but at least with us so much talent, it's like New York. I mean, St. John's and what's other schools in New York that's like raw? Like them schools, they all not in a Final Four every year. But like like for the kids that do end up staying, they do well. Like Villanova's in Philly, they got they got Philly kids that's playing right now that's going to be in a Final Four from Philly. And I just think what Ayo did by Ayo breaking that 12-year drought, and then was the number one seed. And yeah, they got bounced by Loyola, another school who had a numerous of Chicago talent on that team that went to the Final Four. That's still 12 years is a long time not to have. A team with in-state talent to stay home and to represent the city the way it was during that time. We're gonna jump into NBA real quick. Man, so New York lifted the thing for Kyrie. Kyrie Irving stayed on his. He said, "Man, I ain't moving a crumb. Like I ain't doing nothing." And
Listen,
that whole state. Do you think now Brooklyn is the team, or is it still Milwaukee?
listen, it's gonna get real Brooklyn. Kevin Durant don't mind watching Kyrie go to work.
Right.
Okay, set out because you ain't want to take this and people dogged you. I'm gonna let you do you. I know what
Yeah.
I get 40 on ease. It don't matter. I'm gonna let you do what you do. If you watch that game, every time Kyrie have over 30, or every time Kyrie have over 40, Kevin Durant don't even have 20. You ain't noticed
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
KD go to work. But every time KD have 50, Kyrie don't have over 20. It's like they letting each other work, like go and do
Hmm.
you. But Kevin Durant, that's easy work. That's an easy 30 every game, like because he's literally the best basketball player in the NBA. Let's just
Yeah.
not let's not get it twisted. That man is the best basketball player in the league. I don't care if he's not playing. If he's not playing, somebody else is. But if he's playing, nobody's better than him. Now you have to understand the fact that so far Philly is winning that trade because James Harden is actually playing. Ben Simmons
Right.
is, but it's scary in Brooklyn that Kyrie don't have to be the facilitator now. He can be the off guard and do what he does best, and that's destroy other people's kids. That's what he can do. And then you got on the other side of the court the Slim Reaper. You know what I'm saying? That just he's not all over the court now. He picks his spots where he want to be at on the court, and he goes to work there because he know can't nobody guard him in no spot on the court.
Right.
And then they got shooters around him. They got rebounders around him. They got people that's just gonna play their role. It's gonna be scary in Brooklyn. But at the end of the day, if Ben Simmons doesn't play or they don't get nothing out of him, then I could say Milwaukee is the team to beat. But Milwaukee loses a perimeter defender when they let PJ Tucker go to Miami. So that's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be between Milwaukee and Brooklyn if things come down to it.
I think that's going to be. I think that is going to be the Easter Conference final again. I think they get a rematch. I think Milwaukee get their rematch. Giannis is unlocked. He
Hey,
got that. He did it old school. He went and got a ring, and now he unlocked. Man, like they done unlocked the cheat code to him.
but let me tell you,
Man.
the NBA playoffs start today. If the NBA playoffs start today and
Hmm.
everyone's healthy, let's just say it starts today. The Bulls are the number 5th seed. Boston is number 4. Miami is still the top seed.
Hmm.
Make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They beat Boston in 6 and beat Miami in 7.
Yeah, that's right. That's where the Bulls are at. Yeah, because Brooklyn would have to play
The
Embiid, and if the Bulls conduct them, that
yes,
actually makes it because the Bulls could definitely beat Boston, and the Bulls can definitely beat Miami. But Embiid, we got to do so. We got to somehow find a way to dodge him. We don't
no.
need them problems.
Hey, listen, I'm finna tell you how. I'm gonna tell you how you beat a team like that. You stop everybody else and let him do him. If he don't score 100 points, they don't beat us. There's no stopping Joel Embiid. Reason being, he's legitimately a force down low in the painted area. He can stretch it out and get it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Outside, but he's 7 foot in this. He's like 7'1". He's skilled. He's big enough to take the punishment, and he actually can make his free throw. So it's gonna be hard to beat Philly. But you stop everybody else, you beat them. Because at the end of the day, Tobias Harris plays the backseat role to everybody who's been on the team that has a star.
Yeah,
James always been inconsistent, starting in mid March, beginning of April. Maxie hasn't showed you anything because he's a rookie. And after you say those 4 names, you don't say nobody else on the Philly team.
Yeah.
Somebody else got
Milwaukee got what it takes to beat them, but that's gonna be a dogfight for them. Brooklyn, I mean, that's gonna be a nice series if they meet up. But if the Bulls can stay where they at, Boston and Miami, hey, you right. Because then that's like a gauntlet that they could dodge.
Mhm.
I just basketball is a game about matchups. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? And I remember it was times like we'll play we'll play Minnesota and Wisconsin when I was in college. Minnesota was like Wisconsin was number 8 in the country. Minnesota was like 20. But just because of the matchups and the way they matched up against us, we was able to beat them. But then we
Mhm.
played like a Michigan State and a Purdue, and we couldn't beat or Michigan State and Ohio State, and we couldn't beat them. But
Right.
Wisconsin and Minnesota wash Ohio State,
Right.
and it just the matchups, and I just think the Bulls, for whatever reason,
Mhm.
they can't match up against big fella.
Nobody beat, man. He's a matchup part. But what you have to do is you can't let him get comfortable. You can't let him get in his sweet spots. You have to make him work on both ends. If you know Joel Embiid gonna punish you on the offensive end, then don't let him sit around in the paint and do nothing on defense. You got to make him work. Put his ass in a screen and roll and make him guard somebody like they got you guarding on the other end. You can't let people get comfortable. And when you let them get comfortable, that's when you start to see the real true side of it. And I think with Embiid not fast enough footwork to move laterally to guard any point guard in the screen and roll, or anybody. And what they do is they let Embiid work them on the other end, and then on the defensive end, he does nothing but stand around.
Yeah,
And
he on sad because Vucevic, for whatever reason, scared to shoot the ball on him. I don't know he can go play against Jokic and play well, but I don't know what it is about Embiid. I don't know if he took his bike when he was little and snatched his chain and rolled off with the bike squeaking, but I don't know. It just whenever Vucevic see Embiid, he
so
quiet until he leave, and
it's
then when he leave, he start talking again.
it's gonna change. You either gonna show up or you're gonna get pushed out in April. And it ain't no joking. It's all or nothing in April. And I look at it like this: if the seeding stay the way it is, the Eastern Conference Finals is gonna be played in the second round,
Mm,
and it's gonna look lopsided. But it's gonna be what everybody want to see.
right,
But I just don't think Miami. You have little stretches that you're good at and that you can run through. And
right.
like the Bulls peaked and Miami peaked, and then the Bulls lacked off. It's like some days you're gonna win, some weeks you're gonna win 4 in a row, some days you're gonna lose 4 in a row. And I just look at it the way it's going. If things stay the same and there don't be no flip flopping, the Bulls have a chance of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Uh, and depending on who they play, will say what they can and can't do. A lot of people might disagree with me, but
Nah,
I
I
just look.
don't. I just think if the Bulls could play anybody but Philly, if okay, how about this? If the Bulls can go Boston, Miami, Brooklyn, they got a chance to go to the finals. But if the
Yes,
Bulls go Boston and Philly anything, or Boston and Milwaukee anything, the Bulls going home.
yes.
So the only two teams that I want the Bulls to duck, which I don't think they're going. I think Milwaukee is they just got to see that fate. It's like Achilles against Hector on Troy. You know what? He calling you out at your castle. Just go and come out, kiss your wife and your brother goodbye, and just tell them, we got to go fight this beast down here. But yeah, as long as the Bulls can just duck that. Now you talked a lot. We talked a lot about the Eastern Conference. What about in the West? Because I don't see nobody beating Golden State 4 times.
Let me get this clear. The Lakers are trash.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The Lakers are trash. But we're gonna get back to the real talk. A healthy Golden State team is gonna be hard to beat, but it's hard to beat the Phoenix Suns when one person on 20 and 5 on 12. Chris Paul got 20 and 11. You got Jay Crowder with 11, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Then you got Bridges with 13 with 2 assists and 4 rebounds. And then you got Cameron Payne with 11 and 4 assists and maybe 2 steals. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Devin Booker scoring 26 and getting 6 and 4. It's hard to beat a team where they got 5 to 6 people. Then you got DeAndre Ayton that's 15 and 8. It's hard beating people where you got one person scoring 24, the next person scoring 20, the next person scoring 18, then somebody got 14, 13, 12, and 11. And then some person has just got 9 and 6. It's hard to beat them because you really don't have a scouting report. You really don't have a scouting report. So Phoenix and Golden State are going to be the teams that end up playing each other in a finals. And if Golden State making jump shots, Golden State wins. But if Phoenix running the way they running and doing what they doing, they win. Nobody else have a chance. Minnesota,
Yeah.
they
Yeah. Everybody else. I mean, I like Memphis. I think Memphis a year or two away. They're a year or two away. I think John Morant is good enough to get them. I mean, he could potentially upset somebody and even make it to the Western Conference Finals. But I'm gonna say he gets to the semifinals. That's good enough. I don't believe in Utah at all. I don't believe in Denver at all.
the
Um,
Denver is because they hurt right now.
Murray.
They hurt.
Uh,
Porter injured, Murray injured, Jokic got to do it all, and Aaron Gordon is Aaron. Listen,
he
Aaron.
doing the best he can.
Oh, he's not.
Aaron Gordon is not
Stop giving
elite.
stop giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay.
Now he is Aaron Gordon better than Bobby Portis?
Hell no.
Exactly. Thank you. He just all right. He's just a dude that can throw the ball through his behind his legs and dunk.
But at the end of the day, you got to work on something else that's going to help you, and he doesn't. You can tell he doesn't work on his
Yeah,
game.
that ain't our fault in the league. That's you. When I see you and you can't do something, then that's you. Bobby Portis could do it. So Aaron Gordon is gonna give you what he can give you. You know what I mean? And that's so what to the Western Conference. But like you said, man, like Golden
Phoenix.
State and Phoenix, yeah. And I got Golden State. I got go. I just don't see Poole, Wiggins, Curry, Clay, Draymond, Iguodala coming back to play his role. The little European boy that they sub in that could shoot. The
And,
little Tumunga boy, the dunk. Then they got Baby Draymond, the boy that was in the dunk contest.
mhm.
Uh,
And let me
him,
say something.
Wiseman supposed to be coming back.
Let,
Looney championship experience.
let me say, until Steve Kerr understands that Jordan Poole should get close to the same minutes that you give Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they not gonna beat Phoenix. What Steve Kerr has to understand, we know what the Splash Brothers did. We know what Draymond did all these years. But Jordan Poole can play basketball. And him sitting on the bench is not gonna help your team win. You don't see people just killing Jordan Poole, but you don't see Jordan Poole just out there doing nothing. He can defend and he can put the ball in the basket, but he's over there. You know, they done paid Clay all that money, so they got to give him his shots and his minutes. But then you got to understand Jordan Poole is also a guy that can get you a bucket the same way Clay do. But it's just they looking at they gonna favor Clay because he's one of the franchise leaders and everything.
Founding fathers.
Yeah, and you got to understand, like with that, with Wiseman, they saying him out for the year and all that. You got to go with what you got going, and then the X factor to that Golden State team is somebody you didn't say. There's only 2 people on Golden State team who play defense, and that's Draymond Green
Lee.
and Gary Payton Jr.
I forgot all about him.
Gary Payton Jr. Was the reason why they won at least 20 games this year, just defending. He
Right.
don't he don't need the ball. He'll get him an offensive rebound. He'll get him a
Dunk
push.
something.
He'll kick it out. He'll tip dunk it. He gonna guard the best player. He gonna, you know what I'm saying. Gary Payton Jr. is the glue to them winning games down the stretch. Like when you got to rely on somebody to defend. If Draymond don't do nothing bonehead and they play good solid defense, then he's gonna be the glue to it because all the 50-50 balls, he's always in a way to get a tip out or get a loose rebound or anything. So that's gonna be the key to go to stay winning. And it's defense, and it starts with Draymond starting the game and Gary Payton Jr. filling in when Draymond sits down. They both on the court.
Right. I think with Phoenix, they gonna use that to throw at them boys in the playoffs, and they just gonna tell And Steve Kerr is a smart dude. He's a smart coach. I know the conversation we having right now, he got to be having. You know what I mean, with his guys and everything like that. All
Yeah.
right, man. Last thing, Brady back. Patrick Mahomes lost his receiver. What's his name? The boy that liked the massages, Watson. That should have been a Bear. He in Cleveland now. What you think about this whole carousel going on in the NFL?
I'm gonna touch on one. For the people that saying Colin Kaepernick supposed to be in the NFL, he's never gonna play a NBA. NFL game again because he won that lawsuit against them for all the millions of dollars for what they
Yeah.
did. So he would never play in the NFL again. Let's just be two. Uh, Deshaun Watson didn't do it. Three, he's gonna be a good player over there in Cleveland. And sources say that OBJ said he's going back over there, so the Cleveland Browns might be good. I think Kansas City did a dumbass job at trading Tyreek Hill. I think the Bears are always doing stupid shit. Like I'm gonna touch on them before we get out, but when it come down to it, like with Green Bay, I said something on my live and it was about basketball. When I say, man, after you've been in the league so long and you want to win, you can't take them big ass paychecks and then there's no money left on the table to get you help to win. And I think just being money hungry and greedy when he took that $200 million 4-year deal that was guaranteed for 180 some million, and you never left Devontae Adams anything on the table, and they tried to franchise tag him, and he said he wasn't signing it. Like Aaron, that's your number one target. He the reason why y'all even had a chance last year. Why would you take that 4-year, $200 million and be greedy instead of giving him at least 45 of those, maybe 50 million of that 200 you took, just so you can get some help, even if it was over the next couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes being greedy gonna hurt you. And Aaron Rodgers, they know they're in the NFC North. The Bears ain't got a chance in hell. Detroit and
Minnesota
Minnesota iffy. You know what I'm saying? So they know they can win that
conference.
conference and still make the playoffs. But at
Right.
the end of the day, that was just dumb as hell on Aaron Rodgers' part. And he just wanted to show the franchise like, y'all tried to fuck me, now I'm finna fuck y'all. And my
Right.
money, so all I gotta do is play one game next year, one snap. And then the whole thing is guaranteed and he might not play again. And so they traded Adams away because he didn't want to do the franchise tag, which is basically for people in football where we're gonna give you this certain amount of money and you just do what we say for this year. And then you can do whatever. And they can keep franchise tagging you up to 2 years. And that can just stall you out. And it's to me it's just I think all around this NFL offseason just been ridiculous. And Tom Brady needs to sit his ass. He just sit
Man,
his
he love it too much, man.
white.
Some soldiers got to die on the field, man. They got to die on the battlefield. Man, been doing this. Like I know when I walked away from the game, and that was year 10. It took me a while to kind of just be like, okay, cool. Like I'm not Cadillac the hooper no more. Like I'm Jitim Young. That dude been doing it 22 years, man. That man wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm not speaking for Tom Brady. I'm just speaking for me, and I'm just thinking about like him. That man wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that and stand up, and Giselle probably looking at him like, man, hey man, just go ahead and go back, man. Hey, you ain't ready. And then you walked away from the game like nobody sent you home. You walked away from the game like I'm still the best player here. We was winning when I left the field. Didn't nobody beat me, man. It's just some soldiers got it down on the field, man.
You got to look at it. You got to look at Tom. What you got to understand about him? He's gonna make sure that they got the best people protecting him every game. Like when it come down to the offseason, you don't see nobody like you don't never see Tom Brady just getting sacked like that or
Nah.
and he in these all these years. And then you got the coaching staff knowing that he's not as mobile as he used to be. He's getting a little older. So let's get these quick slants out, 2 and 3 yards, completions, and then stuff like that to make him still look relevant in the game. So that's like smart on their behalf. But I think at the end of the day, he just needs to let it go. Like he's out too long. He's like I think what he doing is he just it's either he padding stats or ring chaser because at the end of the day, they not winning again.
He definitely trying to get a ring, and he feel especially if Julio can come over there, he definitely believe he could do it. To
Nah,
be honest, man, me personally, I believe so too. I believe in the NFC. You know, Russell Wilson went over to the Denver. The AFC is just, oh my, the AFC looking like the Eastern Conference right now. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, the boy in Buffalo, Allen, Mahomes. Who else you got over there?
I think that
Uh, Tua with Tyreek going over there with probably help him. And then in the NFC, you got Brady,
and Aaron Rodgers,
Stafford, and Aaron Rodgers.
right?
You know what I mean? Oh, you got Burrow. Burrow just coming off a ship over that. Like the AFC is gonna be like, man, woo.
Let's before we get out of here, the Chicago Bears.
Right.
I want to say this, and I want to say I'm a diehard Bears, diehard Chicago sports fan,
Right.
but the whole Bears front office needs to be reassigned. I'm gonna tell you my personal opinion. The only reason why they drafted Justin Fields because it was so rumored around the Chicago land that they didn't want a black quarterback, and it was so pressured that all these quarterbacks that they drafted was white and they never panned out. So they had to draft Justin Fields. Then they threw him in a fight, had no help, and made him look like he was terrible when he wasn't. Now let's get back to the real thing about Chicago. You will never see a Chicago Bears team where they have a good offense, good defense, a good team. They're gonna either have one of each or two of them and one not. Like when they made their Super Bowl run when Devin Hester was the kick returner back in '05, '06, and '07. They had a great defense, good special teams. Offense was lackluster. Every time the Bears have a good offense, like when they had Jay Cutler, Brandon Marshall, and all them, the defense wasn't that good. So you'll never see the Bears good on both sides of the ball. And then when things don't go right or things start to get fishy, that's when they start moving people around. Don't want to pay people. And then it starts in the front office. Like at the end of the day, we saw how much the Bears didn't care about people when they didn't want to pay Brian Urlacher and he still was good. He was still good. Then they didn't want to pay Lance Briggs and he still was good. So when it came down to it, me personally, I look at it like this. Why y'all didn't chase somebody else? You got Akeem Hicks in the middle and you got Khalil Mack on the right end. Why didn't you get somebody on the left end? But you let Leonard Floyd go without signing him. And then he ends up going to the Rams. Then you got Trevathan, and then you just let him go. You trade McAway, and Akeem Hicks goes to free agency. So the Bears defense is just crazy. And it wasn't the front line of defense. It was the cornerback. Then they didn't draft cornerbacks. The Bears was the only team that went into training camp or the season with no real cornerbacks or deep defensive backs. It's like, what are y'all doing in that office? And this is where it comes down to. As long as they sell tickets for Soldier Field, they don't really care about what goes on the field.
No.
They don't, and that's the same thing with the Bulls. Once
They
they
gonna sell out.
they gonna sell out. As long as they sell
They know that.
10,000 seats, they don't give a damn if they win or lose. It's a
Yeah.
business. But when it come down to the White Sox, they care if they win or lose. They don't care about people being in the stand, and that's what people don't understand. And I just think the Bears is like crazy. Like you, Allen Robinson gone, one of your best receivers on the team.
Is he gonna go? Is he gonna go to Baltimore? He hasn't picked a spot yet.
I don't know where he's going, but I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah.
I wish.
All right, Face man. We at the hour mark, man. Thank you for blessing locker room talk, man. Sitting in the locker room. This is what it feel like, man. Being a athlete, man. When you get in that locker room, man, we talk about everything in here. So, man, thanks for man coming on, talking some March Madness, talking every madness we done talked about. And bro, man, we gotta tune in. If you haven't tuned in to Face Show, follow him, Deandre Barnes, on Facebook. And he got the livest. What time do you usually go on during the week?
2:30 p.m. 30 p.m. Called
Yeah,
basketball on my Facebook page. My name is Deandre Barnes. It's me, red T-shirt on. You know what I'm saying? We talk good sports for an hour. Sometimes it go over. Sometimes I get people to come on the same way you got me on here. And
yeah.
podcast that I'm starting. I want to say the name real bad, but I'm not gonna say
Nah. Yeah, hold on. Let us surprise it, man. You know, you a business as well.
it.
So yeah, and that's 2 p.m. Uh,
Chicago.
Central Time. So that's Central Time. It will be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it'll be what, 12
1:30. No,
Pacific.
12:30 Western Coast time.
West Coast, yeah. So it'll be 12:30 over there. But all right, Face man, thanks for coming on, man. Get you some rest, young fella.
Man, I'm finna go out, man.
Hey, so that was locker room talk today. We was talking with DeAndre Barnes, Face comedian, sports, just amazing job that he does in sports as the voice of Chicago basketball, the voice of Chicago, as a his podcast is amazing, and the people that go on to share their stories. I'm happy to have them to come on. This is Locker Room Talk with Jitim Young. I'm your boy, Mr. Northwestern, Mr. Wildcat, Mr. Big Ten, Chicago legend, Mr. Hall of Fame, Jitim Young, West Side great. Whatever you do it to the best of your ability. All right. And always know there's always room for improvement. And the day you feel that you can get better, it's the day you're not living your life to the fullest. Stay safe. God bless. Peace.